Well, I eat oatmeal every morning for breakfast. And that's what we used to feed our baby pigs. The first food that they could digest and everything was oatmeal. And I thought, well, if that's the case, I should be eating oatmeal. And I still eat. I had my oatmeal this morning. Well, I love farming. When I came back, I was in the 7th grade, and I went to Orange. And small class, there was only 12 of us in that 1944 class. But I had some good teachers in school. Bill Dreyer was my voc ag teacher and taught me a lot about parliamentary procedure and things. It was a great organization. And then that was right during the war, and so many of the men teachers were drafted. But he was a big influence on me in school. What amazes me is the technology that I've seen in my lifetime. I cultivated with horses, 2 horses and a 1-row cultivator when I was a freshman in high school. Now they go out with GPS, and they're talking even robots running the tractors in the future. And it'll happen. Well, one thing, being a farmer, I've traveled all over the world quite a bit. Spent a year in Japan, been to the Soviet Union, behind the Iron Curtain for a month. This is the best place to farm in the world. And I was lucky enough to start here and lucky enough to end up here.
So many joys, so many friends, neighbors. It's life, and it's been my life, and it's made my career in military and in law so much better and so much enjoyable, and it has made the opportunities for me that have been just incredible. We had in the platoon one of an old-fashioned, put it on a hard level, hot iron, get it whatever you think's the right temperature, and do the work. And I did. I appeared before the board. I saluted, and the board started chuckling and laughing. And needless to say, it was something about me. And I checked real quick, my buttons and so forth. They still were laughing, chuckling, talking to each other. It was about a 7 or 8 member board. First words out of the general was, "Sergeant, would you take a look at your uniform?" So I did, and I looked like a leopard. Dark brown hair, light brown hair, because I had burned half of this uniform, and it looked, atrocious. But evidently things worked all right, because they selected me to go to infantry OCS, and from there, it was event after event. After the war, of course, I went back to Iowa and went to law school, came back to Waterloo, had an opportunity to join some firms, Kansas City, St. Louis, Chicago, and out east. But I still had this in the back of my mind of the political world. I loved politics, and so I came back, and again, 2 feet in, one in the military reserve, and one in the practice of law. I had the best of 2 worlds in the process. I'm undoubtedly the most fortunate person to have the wonderful opportunities that I had. As Satchel Paige said, don't look back, something's liable to be gaining on you. But those people who have gained on have been the best friends I've ever had in my life. So I felt really wonderful about staying in Waterloo as my home, because it's a great, great community.
How do I get the energy? I've just never been a sitter. I like to be busy, and I love to be involved. I guess it fulfills my days and being a part of something. I was so concerned about retiring. What was I going to do? What was I retiring to? And so then I just started out probably doing too much and saying yes to everything. But in the long run, I'm happy I did. It's been great. I grew up in Waterloo. I went to West High. I didn't go on to college. I was married out of high school. Tom and I dated in high school. Then I worked until I had children. Then I stayed home. But there again, I did part-time things, even as the children were growing, what would work for me. Then after they were in school, and actually junior high, I went to work again and started at the school system in Cedar Falls. Loved being around the children. It was great. My daughter volunteered me constantly for every road trip or whatever they did at school. The joy, all the people I've met has been fantastic, and some have become real good friends, some are still just acquaintances. Knowing I've been a part of something and maybe helped in some way, I guess is what I get out of it.
When I was a senior in high school, I was a serious speech student. I was the only girl on the debate team, but the seniors were going to do a comedy play, and they needed a tiny girl, and I was the smallest girl in the senior class. So they twisted my arm, and I did the role for them, and I've been hooked ever since. I still wanted to work with kids, and one of the daughters of a board member at Dyke was involved with the Junior Art Gallery program, and her dad said, "Get Betty Getch." And when she came, I said, "I've never worked with grade school kids. I don't know if I can do that." She said, "But this program is right down your alley. It's on space and what we have to know to travel in space." So I said, "Let me try it." And I went down and I became a docent for the Junior Art Gallery, 55-minute guided tour, and all grade schools, kindergarten through 7. Working with people, doing something that's going to give them a lift in their life, a little pleasant time. But I don't know, really, maybe working with kids, taking a kid and giving him a lot of interest for his future and seeing it grow. My dad was an original thinker for women. My dad thought that even though I was a little girl, that I ought to be able to do what I wanted to do. And he encouraged me. I didn't have to be the top at anything, but I had to be in the top 10%. And just all through the life. He had a habit, if I'd had a bad day, he'd say, "Betty Ellen, are you really proud of today?" Every now and then I hear that voice still. "Betty Ellen, are you really proud of today?"
I was born on a farm about 20 miles west of Fort Dodge, and I went to school in a consolidated district, and then I went to business college in Fort Dodge, and I worked in Rockwell City, and then my parents moved to eastern Iowa, and it was wartime, and I wanted to be closer to home with my family, so I quit my job there. And now where do I go for a job in eastern Iowa? Well, I came to Waterloo, and I went to see Mr. Gates at Gates Business College because I had Fort Dodge business, and I said, "Where should I go here for a job?" And I'll never forget, he said, "Go to Rath Packing." And Rath was in their heyday, and it was wartime, and they had a lot of contracts for food. So I walked in my high-heeled shoes all the way from the YW out to Rath Packing, and they hired me. And about 6 weeks later, I was working for one of the officers. And I worked there for 17 years. I liked my job. It was very good, and I liked all the people I worked with. I'm a farmer's daughter. I always say that. I'm a farmer's daughter brought up in Iowa. The father never taught me the things I know today. You know the old song, she's got mink and sable fur, she's the blonde that men prefer, just a farmer's daughter. And I was a farmer's daughter. I do like the Cedar Valley. I like the people. I would not name a favorite place. I'd have to say Iowa. Good old Iowa.
After high school, I worked with my dad till I got married. And actually, the first year we were married, I worked with my dad, but he rented another farm, and I had my own chores and stuff where we lived. So we was there 1 year, and then the next year I rented a farm myself and started farming. Well, I have a motto, and it's right on the side of my tractor. Everybody says, "What's your secret?" I said, "It ain't no secret. I want everybody to know it." So it's work hard, love much, laugh a lot, trust in the Lord. That's my motto. Well, I enjoyed farming, really, and the people, actually. I was very involved in the community in Jefferson Township, and that's a 6-mile area, 6-mile square. And so everybody, I was elected by write-in vote for 25 years. The first year somebody convinced me I ought to run for trustee. Well, after that I never run again, but I got elected for 25 more years. Oh, I like to go dancing, and I used to like to go to a lot of sales, but that's out of the question. You know, after I was 80, I had no place to put anything. Well, I grew up here, so it's home to me as far as that goes. I've been all over the world as far as that goes too, but this is the best place I know of.
Why? Because everybody would ask me. Said, "You seem like a nice guy. Would you like to do this?" I said, "Sure." When you hear, when I was a kid down in Mississippi, I was actually, I was always doing something. So I'm on all kind of boards. I was on the visiting nurses for about 10 years, and I'm the commander of the disabled veteran. I'm a lifetime member of the DAB, and I'm on the mayor's committee, and I'm on the Department of the Correction. I'm on that board. I got drafted October the 5th, 1950. I worked in the hospital. I got into medics. I worked in the hospital, and they had a nice coroner. They had me on order to go to Korea, and he said, I'm going to change your order. I don't want you to go to Korea. And he sent me to Germany. They would say, the medics just stand around, don't do nothing. When they get hurt, they say, "Medic." I said, "No, you don't need me." They said, "You better get over here." I like it here because I got a lot of friends. Just, it's a lot of friends. Just like y'all, I come in here and y'all just fell the hand over to help me. And I don't have no problem making friends.
I'd been coaching at Coe College, and we had a pretty good year, and I got a call from, Stan Sheriff stopped at the campus and asked me if I'd be interested in coaching at State College of Iowa. And I had to think about it, but it worked out that I coached at the State College of Iowa. I don't know, I think maybe some of them think I go too hard on them, too tough on them, but I was hoping to, if it's worthwhile, you need to work to get better. I know when I came to UNI, we didn't have much of an off-season conditioning program, and we eventually got that going. So we had that old stadium, and we got some weights and started working and trying to get them to do things in the off-season. I always felt that I wanted my players to graduate. I felt that it was very important if they're going to put in 4 years that they graduate. And a lot of them went into coaching, which I thought was great, but nearly all of them had got into the workforce and did a good job. And I guess that's what I felt it was all about, really. Oh yes. My seats are on the 50-yard line, and I probably see 2 or 3 football practices a week. And and Coach Nelson, the line coach, he's good to me. They always they have me at practice and one thing and another. And Coach Farley, the coaches are good to me, and it's been a great place. Plus the young people that have been there. You know, they're coaches in the area who played for me, and they always a couple of times a year they give me a call or want to go out to eat or something. So the what I did for them was okay, but what they've done for me is even better. I've got one of my former linemen who coaches at Cedar Falls, Kenny Koltoff. They get together on Friday, and he always makes sure that I get to go over to the coaches meeting and be with those young guys. So it's been good. I'm never regretted staying here. I probably had regrets on things that happened here, but never staying here, because it was a great place. And our daughter went to Cedar Falls High School and graduated from UNI, and did her student teaching over at West High School. So it's been a good place for us.